Hello and welcome to the Hero Coaching Podcast with me, your host Mark Corner, empowering you to be the best possible version of yourself. Hi everybody and welcome to another feature-packed podcast with me, your host, and the Hero Coaching Podcast. And my name's Mark Corner. So let's get into it without further ado. And I'll put my real teeth back in because they're not false. So today's topic is procrastination. So I'm just circumnavigating here. Got that many windows open. I've got to get my research. Right. Firstly, I'm going to just go over what procrastination is. And I like to do this because it's been the way I've been taught by my coach. It comes from the Latin cras, and the word cras means tomorrow. And it also, the Latin for that means crastinus, belonging to tomorrow, and procrastinat, deferred till the morning. And another one is Latin pro forward. So basically, what it's saying is you're deferring something till the next day or till tomorrow. Right then, let's get into the nitty-gritty. The research. Got some statistics here for you on procrastination, and you might be surprised at what some of these things say. I've got the wrong one open. Right. And I was quite surprised. Not really surprised, but when I was doing my research this morning, some of these things did and didn't surprise me. Right, so here we go then. Some procrastination nuggets for you, statistics. A definition of procrastination is putting off activities that were planned or scheduled for activities that are of a lesser importance. So, you've got a podcast to do, or an Instagram post to put out, or create some content for your blog. And then you've got your PlayStation, or your Nintendo, or your smart TV, or there's a post you've just seen on Facebook, or somebody sent you a link to a YouTube video. You're looking at your email, and the list goes on and on and on. And it's putting off activities that were planned or... I think I already said that. Sorry about that. Just going over old ground there. Right then. The total population statistics show that procrastination affects over 20% of the population. So out of 100%, that's not too bad, but it could be better. Right. According to researchers, procrastination has more than quadrupled, 4 times the amount than it used to be in the last 30 years. And somebody a long time ago, according to what I've learned, 30 years ago, well, it might be even more than that. I think it's in 1973, he said then, that engage brain before mouth, right? Yeah. He said then that there was too much information, so the rate we're going, there's going to be even more information. In 1978, 5% of the population admitted to being chronic procrastinators, compared to roughly 26% of the population today. Now, when I was younger. Oh, that's right, just taking a swig of coffee there. Yeah, when I was younger, thinking about it, the only distractions that there really were I think the main ones were we only had things like, we had no internet, we had no iPads or handheld video games. I mean, there was nothing like that. I mean, the only video game I ever had when I was younger was a ping pong thing, and you had to plug that into the TV. I mean, when TV programs used to finish when I was younger, you used to go out the door and move about and play football or cricket or get on your bike or play hide and seek and whatever else. I mean, all that seems to have gone now. Anyway, that's by the by. I digress. But that just goes to show you now, probably children of today, they don't do that. I mean, they've got Xboxes and YouTube and Instagram and Snapchat and the internet. I mean, it's like a playground, isn't it? I mean, you know, is it any wonder we managed to get anything done at all? So, surveys of student population suggest that procrastination is pervasive, with some surveys suggesting that 80 to 95% of students have problems associated with procrastination. So that's quite a lot. Procrastination statistics suggest that 40% of people have experienced financial loss due to procrastination. Now, quite why that is, I don't know, but that's quite a big statistic, really, when you think about out of 100%. 1 of 5 people procrastinate so badly it may be jeopardising their jobs, their credit, their relationships, or even their health. So, if you're in that category of people, then life it can be hard, and I do know myself because I am one of them that does procrastinate, and I'm trying to be more aware of when I do it so I can put knock it on the head. Piers Steele, a human resources professor at the University of Calgary's Haskayne School of Business, stated that 95% of the population procrastinates at times, with 20% being chronic offenders. An online survey, right, here's something about the negative impact online, and it says 46%, 18%, and then there's a green part to it. This is from an infographic. An online survey by the Procrastination Research Group posed a question: to what extent is procrastination having a negative impact on your happiness? Of the 2,700 responses, 46% said quite a bit, or very much, and 18% claims extreme negative effect. So when you think about that, 2,700 responses, 46% said quite a bit or very much. So that's nearly half. Another thing here is, I think it's 2 people who did some research. Procrastination predicts high level of consumption of alcohol among those who drink. So I'll just get to my next bit of research. In one study, a procrastination research group looked at 375 undergraduates and found that students who put things off were more likely to eat poorly, sleep less, and drink more than students who do homework properly. And this can cause extreme anxiety, severe clinical depression, obsessive compulsive disorder, attention deficit disorder with or without, hyperactivity, and illnesses that are related to memory loss are examples of such dysfunctions that may lead to procrastination. And they say laziness is procrastination out of control. Procrastination and disorganisation are integrally linked. The problem of procrastination is that one that goes often beyond self-discipline and whipping oneself from stasis to stress. One common reason for procrastinating is that often one too much of the same activity must be done at one sitting. And according to Canos, citing a study that was done in 1993, people who procrastinate experience delay in 2 personal areas. Now, this is quite interesting, actually, because this can show you how it can affect your life. Self-development and personal maintenance. Now, self-development to me means working on yourself, doing things that make you happy, having a good social life, etc., etc. And personal maintenance, well, that means, I don't know, everything from self-care to grooming, probably changing your clothes regularly, looking after yourself, making sure you eat the right food. Dryden and Gordon, 1993, identify 3 typical causes of procrastination: anxiety, low frustration levels, and tolerance and rebellion. Now, isn't that some golden nuggets of information there? I'm going to reread this again myself. Okay, let's see what else we've got for you. Here's some procrastination research. I think Feischl is the name. Noticed the role of mood and emotions on procrastination with his very first work on the subject back in the mid-1990s, and solidified that concept with a study published in the Journal of Social Behaviour and Personality in 2000. His research team gave 45 students a pager and tracked them for 5 days leading up to a school deadline. 8 times a day when the test participants reported their level of procrastination as well as their emotional state. As the preparatory tasks became more difficult and stressful, the students put them off for more pleasant activities. When they did so, however, they reported high levels of guilt, a sign that they're beneath the fear of their relief for not doing about, the work that they'd done or hadn't done. And the result made them realise that procrastinators recognise the temporal harm or the temporary harm they're doing, but they can't overcome the emotional urge towards a diversion. A few years ago, a study was done, and they recruited about 80 students and assessed them for procrastination. The participants then read descriptions of stressful events, with some of the anxiety caused by unnecessary delay. In one scenario, a person returned from a sunny vacation to notice a suspicious mole, but put off going to the doctor for a long time, creating a worrying situation. Afterwards, Sirius asked the test participants what they thought about the scenario. She found that procrastinators tend to think things like, "At least I went to the doctor before it got really worse." This response, known as a downward counterfactual, reflects a desire to improve mood in the short term. At the same time, the procrastinators really may think, "If only I'd gone to the doctor sooner." That type of response, known as an upward counterfactual, embraces the tension of the moment in an attempt to learn something for the future. Simply put, procrastinators focused on how to make themselves better at the expense of drawing insight from what made them feel bad. But while the tough love approach might work for couples, the best personal remedy for procrastination might actually be self-forgiveness. A couple of years ago, Satchel asked 2 Carleton University colleagues and surveyed 119 students on procrastination before their midterm exams. And the research team, which was led by Michael Wall, reported in a 2010 issue of Personality and Individual Difference that students who forgive themselves after procrastinating on the first exam were less likely to study late for the second one. So there you are. And it goes on to say it's an existential relevant problem because it's not getting on with life itself, he says. You only get a number of years, what are you doing? Dryden and Gordon, 1993, identify 3 typical causes of procrastination. Well, I've already said this before anyway, but I'll say it again. Anxiety, low tolerance, frustration levels, and rebellion. If you look up about low tolerance, frustration levels, you'll probably realise that a lot of that is to do with how your brain actually deals with having to do tasks, even though I don't know if I've got anything. I'm trying to think what it said now, but it's to do with how you actually do things, whether you're impatient or patient. If you're impatient, then you're more likely to be a procrastinator. Why? Because you'll always go for the easy fix. Let's just say, for instance, that you go to a supermarket and you've got a low frustration tolerance. You'll be standing there thinking, "Oh God, this queue's going slow. There's so many people here, blah, 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 blah." You know the drill anyway. And that's going to cause you stress, and you're going to want to get out of there as quick as possible. Now, if you've got a high frustration tolerance, you'll think, well, yeah, there's a few people, but I've got to wait a bit of time. And you might not be. See, the thing is, a lot of these things happen in the background without you even realising. So I'm going to close it now. I hope you've enjoyed what I've talked about today on procrastination. I procrastinated putting off doing this podcast, but not for any particular reason. I just have another sip of coffee. Sorry about that. I just had a few nights of uninterrupted sleep. God, my teeth are not working very well today, neither my mouth. So that's the reason that this week's podcast is a bit late. Normally I do them on a Monday, but I'm afraid I was like The Walking Dead on Monday and Tuesday, so I decided to do it day when I was a bit more, when all the brain fog had gone. So this is another Hero Coaching podcast with me, your host Mark Corner, closing down, and I'll say to you, happy, beautiful day. Have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed the podcast. See you again next week. Hopefully, all being well, it should be at the same time. Up to 15 minutes now. Goodbye. Have a great day. Lots of love. Bye.